What happens when one of Hollywood's most unpredictable comedians sits across from America's sweetheart in what should have been a lighthearted interview, but instead, it spirals into one of the most uncomfortable moments in recent TV history? Today, we're revisiting the intense and shocking exchange between Jim Carrey and Kelly Clarkson that had producers scrambling behind the scenes and left viewers absolutely stunned. If you'd like more stories like this, be sure to subscribe and tell me in the comments what you think really unfolded that day. Let's get into it. The Kelly Clarkson Show had become known for its warm, safe atmosphere where stars could open up, laugh, and share their stories. Kelly's ability to put people at ease made her show a favorite stop for celebrities eager to promote their latest projects. So when Jim Carrey's team confirmed his appearance, the staff couldn't have been more excited. He wasn't just another guest, he was a comedy legend with decades of iconic roles behind him, and people assumed his presence would be entertaining from start to finish. The plan looked smooth. Jim was supposed to discuss his art, painting and sculpting, passions he had embraced more seriously over the years. This segment was meant to highlight a deeper, more thoughtful side of Carey, beyond the wacky characters like Ace Ventura and The Mask that had made him famous. When filming began, Kelly welcomed him with her signature upbeat energy. Jim bounced onto the stage, waving at the cheering audience, and took his seat with a big grin. Kelly leaned in, ready with her first question. "Jim, people know you for your amazing comedy, but now you've turned to the visual arts. Tell us about that transition." At first, Jim's answer was what everyone expected. He spoke about art being therapeutic, a way to channel emotions that comedy couldn't always touch. But soon his tone shifted. There was an edge to his words, and he began speaking less about art and more about life, reality, and the illusions of fame. "You see, Kelly," Jim said slowly, almost hypnotically, "we're all just characters in a play. You're the cheerful host. I'm the polite guest. But what's behind it? What's real behind the smiles and scripted questions?" Kelly laughed lightly, assuming this was a setup for one of his comedic bits. "Well, I like to think my smiles are real. I honestly enjoy getting to know my guests." "That's just another story," Jim cut in. "Your story is that you're authentic and caring. My story is that I'm enlightened, past all the comedy. But what if it's all fake?" The audience chuckled awkwardly, unsure what they were watching. Kelly, ever professional, tried to redirect. "I think authenticity is something we all try for. Speaking of your art, I'd love to hear about your sculptures. Some of them are quite large, right?" Jim's expression hardened. "Large," he repeated. "Everything's large now, Kelly. Your show, your brand, your image. Tell me, when was the last time you had a conversation not driven by some agenda?" His words hit like a challenge. Kelly's smile flickered, but she quickly recovered. "I have genuine conversations all the time, Jim. That's what I hope we're doing right now." "Are we?" Jim pressed. "Or are we just performing for cameras, for an audience told when to laugh and clap? Look around, Kelly. This is a beautiful lie." The atmosphere in the studio shifted sharply. Producers behind the scenes whispered urgently, debating whether to cut to commercial. Kelly stayed steady. "Entertainment can be both sincere and meaningful. Viewers want to feel connected to their favorite performers." Jim's laugh rang out, unsettling and sharp. "Real? What's real is that you're fighting to keep control of something that hasn't been an interview for a while now. And your producers are panicking because I'm not reading the script they wanted." "This isn't about a script, Jim," Kelly said with more firmness. "It's about respecting the audience and the show's format. Maybe we should talk about your new projects." Jim shook his head, smirking. "My projects? Kelly, my only project is waking up. Waking up from this illusion. And I'm wondering if you're ready to wake up too, or if you'll keep pretending until the curtain drops." The audience sat frozen. Kelly's tone grew sharper. "I respect your ideas, Jim, but this is still a show. People came here to be entertained. We can share your thoughts, but we also need balance." Jim clapped slowly, his eyes intense. "Balance. The container. The rules. That's the truth, Kelly. But what happens when someone won't stay inside the container?" Kelly forced a small laugh. "Then things get interesting. But interesting doesn't always mean comfortable." Jim suddenly stood, shocking everyone. "Comfort is the enemy of truth. Comfort keeps people asleep. And you, Kelly, are feeding them comfort disguised as connection." Kelly's producer moved toward the stage, signaling to cut, but Kelly waved him off. Jim, please sit back down. We can continue, but I need you to work with me here. Jim shook his head. You're still thinking like a host, trying to manage this instead of letting it be real. This is a problem, Kelly shot back. Because you're making people uncomfortable, breaking the agreement we made and turning this into something it was never meant to be. Jim's expression shifted, his voice lower. Ah, there she is. The real Kelly. Not the polished host, but the person frustrated because I won't play along. The rules are there so everyone has a good experience, Kelly said firmly. What you're doing isn't deep, it's selfish. The word cut like a blade. Jim's grin faded. Selfish? You want to know selfish, Kelly? It's building your career on being relatable while controlling every detail of your image. It's pretending to care when you're really mining stories for content. That's not true, Kelly replied sharply. I care about my guests, my viewers, and creating something positive in this world. Positive? Jim sneered. You're selling positivity like it's merchandise. Feel good. Buy more. Watch more. Stay distracted. And what you're doing right now, Kelly snapped, ambushing this space, is that supposed to help anyone? At least I admit what I'm doing, Jim said. You're still selling the illusion of connection. Kelly's voice dropped, calm but cutting. Here's honesty, Jim. You're not helping anyone by creating chaos. You're ignoring boundaries and disrespecting the people who invited you here. Jim's voice rose. Boundaries are just walls we hide behind, Kelly. Some boundaries create safety and trust, Kelly shot back. They protect people from being dragged into someone else's breakdown. That word struck Jim hard. His face faltered, showing a flash of vulnerability before hardening again. So that's the story. Crazy Jim Carrey breaking down on your show? I think you're struggling, Kelly said carefully. And instead of facing it privately, you're turning this into your therapy. And that isn't fair. The audience sat in heavy silence. Jim's energy shifted again. His voice grew soft, almost childlike. What if I don't know how to face it privately anymore, Kelly? What if I don't even know who I am when the cameras aren't rolling? What if this chaos is the most real I've felt in years? Kelly's expression softened. If that's the truth, I do understand. But this isn't the place, Jim. You're asking everyone here to carry your struggle with you, and that's not what they came for. Jim turned toward the audience, who sat awkwardly, unsure what to do. Look at them, Kelly. They don't want truth. They want the entertainer. They want respect, Kelly corrected. You can be authentic without being disruptive. The back and forth grew more heated. Kelly pointed out that his so-called awakening was hurting people. Jim countered that her show existed to keep people numb. His pacing became frantic, his words more desperate. Finally, he erupted. Talk shows exist to tell people everything is fine. To convince them celebrities are just like them. Someone has to shatter the illusion. That's not your job, Jim, Kelly shot back. Your job was to share your art, bring some laughter, and treat people with respect. Instead, you turned this into a battleground. Jim stopped pacing, eyes wild. For 30 years, my job has been to distract people with jokes. Maybe I'm done being a dancing monkey for this industry. Then quit, Kelly exclaimed. Create your own platform for your philosophy. But don't come onto someone else's show and hijack it for your crisis. Jim's laugh was bitter. This isn't just my crisis. This is everyone's awakening. No, Jim, Kelly said firmly. This is you making everyone else deal with your struggle without their choice. For a long moment, Jim froze, visibly shaken. His voice cracked. You're right. I don't know who I am without the cameras. Performing is all I know. And this chaos, it feels more real than anything. The entire room went silent. Kelly steadied herself. I hear you, but this isn't the place to solve it. You need help in a healthier way outside of this show. Jim nodded slowly, calmer now. You're right. I think I need to leave. I think that's for the best, Kelly said gently. As Jim walked off, he paused and looked back. Kelly, you handled this better than I would have. Thank you. I hope you find what you're looking for, she replied sincerely. Kelly turned back to the audience, who sat frozen in shock. After a pause, she gave a shaky laugh. Well, that wasn't what anyone expected today. The crowd offered uncertain applause. Looking into the camera, Kelly's voice softened. What we saw today shows the difference between honesty and respect. You can be authentic without being destructive. I hope Jim finds peace, but in a way that doesn't hurt others in the process. The show then cut to commercial, leaving audiences everywhere to process what they had just witnessed. What do you think? Did Kelly handle the situation well, or should she have shown more patience? Subscribe and tell me in the comments what you would have done in her position during this unforgettable TV moment.